Again, hello everyone. Uh, Welcome to the Introduction to Confluence webinar. I work with Valiantys. Valiantys is a platinum solution partner for Atlassian. I'll do a shameless self-promotion of Valiantys a little bit later in time. We're going to be spending this hour doing a kind of a quick um, run through the feature set and offerings that Confluence can perform in your Atlassian ecosphere for your company. I'll show you some of the basics and then really try to show you as many of the relatively new features as possible uh, that are available, and then talk about how the tool and its features can be used to leverage Confluence as for several things in your organization. Um, but first, we need to talk about what the tool is and the structure, basic editing capabilities, a couple of examples of how, once the feature is used, how it could be used in both either an IT situation or a non-IT situation. And then we will look at the new features like whiteboards, databases, smart links, automation rules, AI capability, and then they've recently turned on another new feature called live pages, and we'll take a look at all of those really quick, but we'll take a look at them. Um, we'll finish up near the end with a discussion about governance, because as you're going to see how flexible this tool is, your organization is going to want to know how you want to manage that from there. So, and then with whatever remaining time we have, we can do a Q&A session. There is a Q&A module in this meeting, and so feel free at any time to add your questions as you're thinking of them, and then toward the end I'll review the questions and see if I can answer them for you. Okay. But let's start first of all talking about what is Confluence in general. A very simple definition of it is that Confluence is Atlassian's wiki-style editing tool that can do a couple of things. It can be the place where you document your processes, your organization, and also then becomes this information sharing of your content portal. And because it's tightly woven with Jira, it becomes a great tool for reporting on your projects and your project office itself. And then for some of you, you may also be using Jira Service Management with your Jira and Confluence instance. And Jira Service Management is where your knowledge base articles are stored. They're stored in Confluence, and they then are displayed seamlessly through your JSM project or even through your help portal when your customers are making help requests, so that you can surface hopefully useful information to them during those requests. It's a great tool with lots of customizations. And again, you're going to want to structure your use of Confluence so that it really meets your organization's needs and does it efficiently. And so we'll talk about some of those things. A couple of images to maybe help you give you a handle on what this is. Before a tool like Confluence, the question is, where do your people get that information? I'm looking for the policy regarding, data compliance. Well, that is on our intranet page. Did you not go there? I'm looking for the who to contact regarding this particular project request. Well, we sent you an email with all the people you're supposed to know 6 months ago. Where's that email for you? Or who to call? Or it's stored in different places. What Confluence is designed to do is it doesn't necessarily uh, take things out of all these locations, but it gives your people a single location to go to find it. And so these may or may not be attached to your Confluence instance, but links to it so that your people can go to one location, search for what they need, get the information they need, and care for it there. So that's really the greatest value that we find and encourage our clients as they're using Confluence. If you're familiar with Jira, Jira functions in what are called spaces. I mean, Jira functions in what are called projects, but teaser that they're leaning toward the direction of changing that to spaces in Jira as well. But in Confluence, they actually are called spaces. That's the container of the main element, and then inside of it, it has pages and some other new types of content tools as well. But essentially, it's just a location of in one place with the pages that you need regarding that particular what? Well, regarding that particular group, maybe your department. Um, we're going to recommend that if we're going to talk governance, to even have a governance space in your Confluence instance. Where it's typically thought of is for a particular project, but it could be the team itself, and so it might be your IT security team has it where they communicate with each other, maintain their structure, their policies, etc. It could even be a collection of those things, a team and the different projects that they particularly touch. And I'll show some examples of a couple of those things as we move along with our process. Um, so there's a lot that's going on. Um, the tools allow you to make the pages engaging, dynamic, uh, assisting to navigate, control where the message is from. And so we're going to see a lot of those things in a pretty quick tour. But let's actually take a look at what we're talking about then. So this is a space that's available that we've created, and we have this instance is for all of our training opportunities that we have. And first off, I just want to talk about basic editing. And this is probably I don't need to go too deep into this to show you that, but any wiki style editing tool is going to have some of these basic functionalities. But so you have the ability to have headings, you have straight text, you can format the text, you have bullets, you also have numbered lists that are on there. There are things like, and I'm going to open up the into edit mode in just a moment to show you where these things are located. There's something called action items, which you can we use these in our meetings with clients. Is at the end when we're collecting what needs to be done, you can put in the action items, even mention somebody to and when you mention somebody, they get notified. Depending upon their settings, they may even get notified via email, but they certainly get notified in app. And you can have set dates on there. Let me actually open this up though into edit mode and show you a brand new feature that is been turned on. If you haven't experienced this yet, is that the toolbar now can be undocked. And so if I pin it back up here, you'll see it's here. And then you can also pin or unpin as you need to see it. I'll be honest with you, I'm still getting used to that one, but it is kind of nice that if you're near the bottom of the page and you don't have your toolbar docked, you don't have to scroll all the way back up to select it. But there's texting options, text formatting, color, highlight color, which is a relatively new feature, and then you have your paragraph alignment, bullets and numbers. Here's that action item tool. Then you can also add links, files. There's several things here. A pretty decent table tool is available now, where you can draw the table with as many items as you need, columns and rows. And then we'll experience a couple of these in a little bit. The macros, how to get access to the macros. And when we talk about macros, it's for those that of us that are not highly technical, the word macro can be kind of a scary word. But what it really is meaning is how to format text or help with navigation within the page, the space, or even the entire Confluence instance. So great tools. We're going to see as many out of the box ones that we like and show you that. Um, there's also something called layouts, which controls not only the content, but where the content may live. In this case, this is what's called a right sidebar layout. So 2/3 of the page are left for text here, and then on the right-hand side, you can place objects next to each other to help clarify. So this text might be talking about this table, for instance. Tables can have header rows, header columns, numbered row on the left-hand side, and then also built in is a couple of tools on the table itself that allow you to create a chart. And it's just basically taking this basic information, and you've got a couple of chart options. So for simpler um, um, uh, visual representations of what's data is in there, obviously you can also insert other information from other sources for those charts as well. Because the page is located in a commonly accessed place, for instance, um, um, imagine, if you have Office 365, you have Teams or Dropbox or whatever, because they're in the same location and people can access it from that same shared location, you can have simultaneous editing, which is a great feature. We use them when we're having our client engagement meetings. So the weekly syncs or whatever, we'll have more than one person in the active in the meeting notes page at this, so that one person can be presenting while the other is taking notes. They can switch, or one person is capturing action items. We use it a lot that way where we have simultaneous editing. Also for just simply building together, we don't need to. You don't need to have just one person in the page. You can have more than one. Um, so I think you'll find that again a useful tool. I do want to talk about the live page in a minute too, which is a brand new feature that it does not involve versions. Every time you publish or update a page, you are creating a new version, which allows you to revert back to previous versions should you need to. What this new live content, live page option is, um, it's constantly updating. And so that might be a great tool for building quick action thoughts, developing things, and then you can maybe put it into a page that you might need to have for publishing later. Still working out some of the uses for those things, but I have a couple of colleagues that really like the live page option from there. Another thing that you're probably noticing on this is this yellow highlight, and that's not using the highlight tool. That's using something called commenting. So another great part of this tool is the ability to comment, and you can do it in line with the text by simply selecting the text and then being able to make a comment. So that's what these are. And the comment then can be reply to. You have some formatting options, and then you can even resolve the comment. What I like about in Confluence Cloud as well is that the comments are visible when you're in read mode, but also in edit mode, which is a great handy tool. And so you can view the comments that were made by your readers and be editing at the same time, which is cool. Comments are also available at the bottom of the page. So if you have overall commenting on the content of the page itself, and you have a lot of formatting as well there. So you have the entire formatting toolbar. Um, and you can attach, you can link, you can @mention, just like you can on the actual page itself, and you end up with a pretty nice formatting. You can also reply inline in comments so that you can have threads instead of just stacked comments on there. By the way, the space administrator can control who can comment in that as well. We can talk a little about permissioning if we need to, but sorry, I don't mean to make you seasick. Um, but yeah, so that can be managed at the space level. It can even be managed, and we can talk about that if you have questions about that toward the end. One of the things that I think Confluence Cloud does extremely well, and by the way, full disclosure, this is Confluence Cloud. This is also premium license, which means it has a couple of extra things available to me, like analytics, calendars, um, and capacity and extra things that AI can do when or for automation rules. Those are available in standard, but you have more things that you can do. Whiteboards, how many editors can you have at one time, etc. Those things are so. Just full disclosure, I am showing you a premium license. But I love how Confluence Cloud handles linking. Um, and it's really great options for doing so. For an internal link, you can link to another page, and then you can open this from there. Let me go back to editing and show you what it looks like behind the scenes again, because you have three options or four even. So this is the ability to view the page. There's something called inline, which is this. You can also control it as the URL itself. This is the same page, but it's displaying as the card, which I think might be also useful. Give you a little potential preview of it. And then lastly is being able to embed. So you can actually display an entire page onto it. So the content lives somewhere else, but you could display that content in more than one location, which is a great governance suggestion, by the way. And so you have the URL, the you have the URL, inline, card, or embed. Those are the four that's in there. Here is an external website as a card. Here is a link to a shared document. And then here is that same document embedded into the location. Not sure why I just did that for me. And if you have edit rights to the document, so this is assuming that you have read rights at least to wherever this document's located. In this case, this is a Google Doc, but again, it could be a SharePoint, Teams file, Dropbox, BoxNet, wherever you have. And so this first off, if you have read rights to it, you can see it. If you have edit rights, you can edit the document from this location as well. So really like that. Email links, again, this is just basic email coding, but you can, if I edit this, you put in the email address, but then you can actually display the text pretty well. It also understands when you paste video or media links. And this is a YouTube channel, but maybe you have in your learning management system, you have training videos in your LMS. And you could put links to those videos in your page here, and it will basically embed the media. And again, they don't have to leave Confluence to view your content, but the content is living somewhere else. So great tools for that. We like that a lot. And I really don't even have to use the link tool for those things. I just simply paste, and it knows how to manage that. So really cool things. Just quick pause. Is that there's now something called smart links as well. And what you can do is that You could embed it on a page like this one is, or you could make it its own content uh, element of your space as well. And so I'll show you another example of that when I get out of edit mode from there. Um, while we recommend as a general governance rule is that if if the content is living somewhere else, then we don't recommend necessarily attaching a copy of it into the page. But having said that, we also know that you are going to have attachments on the page, and it certainly can handle attachments on the page. And there's a couple ways that it does it. So here, for instance, is an image, and in Cloud you have the ability to do inline. In other words, it takes up its own lines on the page, or in this case, this is using um, a, um, a word wrap. And so this is wrapping to the right of this text on this one. There are other macros like this is an attached PDF, and there actually is a specific PDF macro that allows you to read through the PDF from the page itself versus clicking on the thumbnail and then opening up in a preview of your browser. That's fine too. But for PDF in particular, it does this, similar to the embedding of a document from here. There actually is a macro called the attachments macro, which allows you to display what attachments are added to this particular page or even another page. And here's that PDF macro. And then here is the actual attachments macro. So the way we use this is, say we're doing a monthly or semi-monthly meeting with the stakeholders of the client, and we're giving them a relatively high view status report of the project, what's been done since our last meeting, what's in progress, what's still to do. And what you can do with that is we would capture the page after the meeting was over as a PDF. And then if anybody needed to see previous meetings, they would have it there. And this allows the users to access, download if they want to. You also have the ability to allow people to upload additional attachments without having to open the page. And that again is a decision that you might make as the owner of the space itself. I've used the word macro a few times, so let me kind of show you some of our favorite ones. These are great for just simply formatting text, helping draw the eye to certain things. And so the panel macro is highly used. And these are the built-in ones that come with it. So they have one for success, information, warning, note, error. But you can also create your own. So you can have it with or without an emoji or icon, with or without the title itself. And you have some other color options. So this also can be used as a tool for background color behind your text. And we're starting to use that a bit more as well. So functional, we love the info panel. We use that a lot when we're trying to communicate with our clients and even with each other on our own meetings together. Then there's something called a status button, where you simply open it up, you tell it what text you want to put it in. It does put it in all caps, but it even has a few color options that you can choose from. We use this on a project status report so that they can see visually how we are in this. It's in progress, it's in UAT, it's completed. You have the ability to do that. A great macro called the expand macro, which allows you to control, maybe offer to minimize vertical scrolling, where you have the click to expand, you can see the text there. Think of it if you had maybe a page that had a listing of policies for your department. Well, you could list the policy name, and then they can click to expand to read the policy if they want to. Another example might be your QA team. These are the 5 things they do during the QA process. And if you ever need to know what the steps are for each one or be reminded of them, you just simply expand. Otherwise, you could follow just simply by remembering the names of the processes themselves. So expand, and I'll show you how we use it among a couple of different ways on our client engagement page. Navigation macros, table of contents, which is based upon the headings of your page. So we encourage the use of headings for this particular reason. There's also something called a page tree, which allows you to show what other pages are either in this space or beneath this parent page, or maybe even another location so that you can have that. So great navigational tool that's on there. Of course, the thing that probably is the most powerful element that separates this from other wiki tools is that it's connected to Jira, and it's tightly connected to Jira, where you can do single issues, and this is just another link. So here is a Jira issue that was created in the Jira project. Sorry, Jira work item. We're changing. I don't know if you've been experiencing the nomenclature changes in Atlassian Cloud, but issues are now called work items in Jira Cloud, and so this is a link to a work item in that project, and this is the embed macro. What I really like about this notion is that if I have, first off, view rights to it and edit rights to it, not only can I see it in here, I would have the ability to edit or add to this particular issue, which is just great. I don't have to be anywhere in this. I don't have to go back to the Jira project to fix it if I have it here. Here is that same issue as a card. You could also do a link to it. Also, anytime you have links to Jira work types or work issues in your page, there'll be a listing at the top of the page of how many Jira links are in the page itself, which is really kind of cool too. And then some great ways to display information. This is what's called a filter results macro, which is I'm looking for a particular group of work items, and it looks like it's the summary is looking for within this one project, and whatever is the criteria for these things, and then the exact same filter can be applied into a pie chart or other types of charts, so that you can see sometimes seeing the information, but also seeing a visual behind it is what helps people in reporting purposes or just informational gathering as a project team. So lots of stuff here, and I want to talk about then how this might be used in a couple of different examples. And the first one is I want to present how frequently this is how we present to our clients. We will have on a Confluence space or in Confluence an engagement space with the client, and typically it'll have a cover sheet or a home page like this. And this is really just kind of putting all these things together. So what we're seeing here, this is a 2-column layout. On the left-hand side, this is just a table that's on there, but we're using the status button that's on here. Over on the right-hand side, this is a feature that comes with Confluence Premium, and that you can have a calendar. We use the calendar for the engagement team to let the client know, say for instance, people who are going to be their days off, significant events, when we're scheduling for releases, etc., so that you can go here and find out basic information from the calendar. This can also be an iCalendar that you can subscribe to, so you don't have to create new in here, but it is a nice feature for that. Here's a great one. Jira has a program called Plans, and in that you can create formally called advanced roadmaps, and you can put the timeline of a plan. This is just a link. It's non-editable, but it is interactive, so you can actually see what is, in this case, these are epics, and what's beneath the epics, the tasks for there. And depending upon how you have your plan set up, you can even see things like progress, etc. A couple of recent features that Cloud has gone to is that you can change this to the list view, and then you can even have some adjustment settings. So pretty powerful tool now, without having to go back to the project or go back to the Jira instance and view that. So we'll always have a roadmap on our engagement page so that the client knows where we are. And then here we are again. These are just filter results again, links to issues, and depending upon whatever statuses we want to show or other fields we want them to see in the display. And so this is a typical, as I mentioned, like at our high level meetings, we say, okay, what's been done, what's in progress, and then what's still on the backlog that we're working on. And then here is a series of this is just a table. But what you can do now is that not only are you presenting the actual data, in other words, you're presenting these issues and then having the visual alongside of it, but because of the wiki editing capabilities, you are given the ability to make this more consumable. Make this understandable for your people, give them context. So you're not only looking at the information, but saying, okay, what generated this? And what do we want to present on this? And how should you interpret this, we think. And so that may mean then that while your actual project team is probably going to stay in Jira a lot, and they may use their dashboard with their dashboard gadgets to report on the project process, or they're looking at the board. This might be the place for reporting to your stakeholders, to your project office, so that they can actually not only see the data, but have context for the data as well. Here is that attachments macro, again, those past status reports that are on there. So, and then here is the statement of work. We typically will put this the statement of work in an expand macro on this engagement page, so that at any given time, the leadership or anybody that needs to understand what was the scope of work that we're working on for this particular engagement. So this is a real common one, and this is just the home page. But again, with this, we not only have the data, but we can control the message. And that's why we think probably this is maybe a better tool for reporting. And I'll try to show you another example to see if I can convince you further of that as well. But how is the space organized? So here, again, this is a very typical setup for us when we're working with a new client. So here you're seeing the engagement dashboard or homepage, and then who is on the team. On the particular project, we'll have the risk register of what's happening from there. We'll collect our meeting notes from here, and this is, by the way, is using another great feature that Confluence offers, and that's templates. This is one of their templates. This is the meeting notes template, and it not only will create the individual meeting note pages, but it even has an index page for that, which collects things. So here's a couple more macros I want you to see. This, for if you're using the tasks, this is the task list. There's something also called the decision choices. That's another macro, and it collects these on this particular page. This is also collecting underneath this. So this is actually a whole another macro page info, and it's collecting all that stuff on the index page itself. And then as you look at individual ones, you have then the meetings from there. We're gonna, whatever the particular engagement is about, let's say this is going to be a migration from data center to cloud. This is where we're going to start to put in our information about that. Where we talk about the current configuration, what apps do we have to consider, other integrations, and then if we also need to talk about any type of team playbooks, this we're going to house it all in this one location. And so this again, just a very typical way that we would set up with our client engagements. So again, the question comes then, if I need to report to people that are not actively engaged in the actual work items of the project, we really think this is a great tool for presenting that information. Let me take you to another one, because this is IT, and obviously Valiantys is an IT company, IT consulting. But Confluence is open and encouraging. Even Jira itself is not limited to IT department usage. Your accounting department, your HR department, your library, recruiting, marketing can have not only their own projects in Jira, but they could definitely have their own spaces in Confluence where they manage their communications, their meetings, their structures, their reports. And so let me take you to another space and show you a non-IT use of this. I'm also going to be able to introduce some of the other bits of types of content pages for you as well. First off, this is just another template called Meet the Team. And so we didn't have to do any of the formatting of this. It was already set up. And then we just simply add the content. This is just links with icon using emojis, icons. This is recent updates macro. So it's just showing what's been worked on recently. That's in there. The team list of people that we have, who's on the team. So this is what this marketing group does. And then they have their own dashboard. Now, the way this is worked out is they actually have 5 different marketing teams on their projects. And here is the summary of all of these pages showing you how they're doing. And then each individual team, here's their roadmap, their plan, has their own page where they have similar to that engagement setup. So they have their calendar, they have their links to pages, using status buttons, using again summaries with visuals like a pie chart. But just each of those, we're going to have their own things too. So it's not certainly not limited to just how an IT team might do that. And then they're going to have their meeting notes as well, etc. Let me show you some other content types that you can have. And these are using something called smart links. Smart link is this, where the entire position in the space is that particular content. And there's all kinds of things that you can have smart links to. If whatever the link, external link, has an external view option, then this is where you can do it. So this is a Miro board. We love Miro, but I'll next show you that Confluence has added whiteboards as well, and we're moving in that direction now because of the capabilities, the functionality that's again so closely tied to Jira. It's really cool. Here is a Trello board. some of you may use Trello. If you're not, Trello is another Atlassian product that is a simple pull method table of tasks. It's really all it's designed to do. There are quite a few options for customizing this as well. But for simple groups that maybe they don't even need a Jira project, they could manage their tasks with a Trello board. Again, I have a couple of my colleagues that they use Trello for their personal life management. And so they do that a lot. One of our colleagues, this is what she used when she was planning her wedding, just all the tasks that she needed to do. So again, another product from there. Here, like we saw when we were looking at linking, these are embedded documents. And again, in this case, they are from the Google Drive, but there are plugins that you could link to, like a Teams document that Atlassian and Microsoft have worked together to create integrations that at the basic level have no cost, but allow you to view Teams content in Confluence, can view Jira content in Teams, etc. And so that's what these are. Again, I have view access to this one. I have edit access to this one. So I can even format without having to leave the page. Another content type is called a database. And this one's pretty basic. I've just simply connected it to the project that this group uses in Jira. So this is their marketing one. So and so this is just looking at, but you have the ability to add however you want to organize your database itself. And so you have then different types of columns that you can have. So you can have text, media, a number, a date. So if this would help you organize those things, that's a great way to potentially look at this. We're still looking into ways that this would be used for us with our ongoing projects, but it's an interesting concept. There is whiteboarding. So yes, we love our Miro, but it's possible now that you could do whiteboarding, and there are several different things that you can use with this. There are different templates that you can use. And with the addition of Rovo, which I'll need to get into before we close out of here, I just watched a video from Atlassian that Rovo can help you organize your whiteboards too. Great tools. And so if your audience is within your instance and they have Confluence licenses, this might be a great place to do it and not need to use an external whiteboarding tool. Here is the calendar again. Again, you can either create new or you can import and subscribe to. So maybe you've got an Outlook calendar or some other type of iCalendar that you want to connect to. This is another smart link of just a media item. And so you saw I embedded a video on the page on our first space, and here it's taking up its own place from there. So I'm hoping that this is giving you some other ideas about what's available to you and how this can be used. It does not have to be limited to just IT. Let me pause for just a moment. I remember I promised the shameless self-promotion, but let me first talk about us a little bit. Thanks for coming, by the way. And I don't know how you necessarily got here, but a little bit about who we are. Valiantys, I had mentioned earlier, is a platinum solution partner with Atlassian. So Atlassian manages the products themselves, the software and the software features, but they rely on solutions partners like us to help clients um, install, um, configure, manage, um, uh, migrate, all those other things. And so that's a lot of what we do as a solution partner for Atlassian. We also what is it that we offer? We've got lots of options to help you. Atlassian has been placing themselves into more than just ITSM. They really have stepped into, or they're hoping and we're seeing some really nice forward movement into literally energize enterprise uh, service management, so that all of your IT needs. We really want to help um, with helping your organization accomplish what you need to use IT tools to do your work with, and that's where we're really stepping into. Um, uh, Among the other things that we do, like today, is we offer training. Um, and my helper is placing those in the chat for you to see those links. Um, we offer lots of trainings. For instance, like this is every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we offer a 1 hour webinar on a variety of topics, including Intro to Confluence. But there's several others that you can see they're on there, and you can access those from this particular page and see what's available, what are free events. We also offer training classes. Um, so next week, I'm going to be participating in a 3-day Jira boot camp where we take a really deep dive into what a Jira administrator and what a project administrator does in Jira itself. It's a great 3-day class that we love to do, and there's others like that. There's Jira Service Management, Jira Analytics. We can help with um, uh, uh, Agile, whether it's governance or actually setting up. So if you're using Jira Align, we have assistance with those as well. And so we offer lots and lots and lots of information. And we like to share as well. Our YouTube channel has tons of content, and it's all free. And all of these webinars, one of the questions in the Q&A is can you get a copy of this? And the answer is yes. It will be placed on our YouTube channel shortly after it is published. So you can see that. But again, as little as 2 minutes up to full hours of presentations. We'll also host events that could be a couple of hours. We have one recent one was a preparing for a migration. Let's see if I find that. Talking about AI. How do you use these tools for portfolio management using plans? So again, just lots and lots of stuff here, and we hope that you'll check us out. Okay. So if we can be of service to you, we'd love to have the conversation. By the way, also, one of the things that happens is you've got a third-party tool that needs to talk to Jira somehow. We have a whole team of full-stack developers that can create custom and in many cases award-winning products to help manage and make the use of your Atlassian products more expedient, more enable better processes within your company itself. So again, if we can have that conversation with you, we'd love to do it. Let me take you to the back end, and then this is getting harder and harder to do in an hour just because of all the new things that are going on. But I need to talk about a couple other things that as a space administrator, and again, I'm also dealing with premium, although there there are talk from them about having some type of analytics available in the standard edition. Um, and so you can see, you can use this to just kind of gauge what kind of traffic you're getting, who are your heavy hitters, um, who are the most contributors, uh, what's been read, and you can see then by dates, what kind of hits it's getting. This can be used then as part of your governance discussion uh, of how long should content remain if it hasn't been viewed or hasn't been edited. And I'll talk about how you can then take this information and tie it into um, governance. And you can even have automation rules. Now, when this first started about a year and a half ago, um, there wasn't much available. If you have come to your space and looked at space settings and looked at automation, there are lots and lots and lots of, essentially, the Atlassian community has said, here's how I want to use it. And so they would place it in there. Um, and so you're seeing some built-in ones that you can turn on, further customize. And there's some great things here. Things like um, when you're working and say you're knowledge-based, put specific uh, uh, labels on it, keys. Uh, if a page gets moved to another location, change the owner. This is really important if you're using it, if you're using some of the social aspects of Confluence where people need to follow particular authors, you can do that as well. This is talking to other Atlassian products, collaborating. Um, and these are just things that some of these things are just maybe they're just repetitive steps. Like every week you have your recurring meeting. You could have an automation rule that automatically generates your meeting notes page before the meeting starts. Now, could you set it up yourself? Sure, but it's just nice convenience. Anything that's repetitive, this is what this is getting good for. And then using Rovo, again, Rovo is Atlassian's AI tool that is now standard with any cloud instance, any standard or premium, not the free one. But and they're doing some great things with this. If and if you as an organization are not at least exploring AI in your processes, we'd love to show you how we're using it. And we'd love to show you how Atlassian wants to encourage that. There's just some great stuff that's happening with this. And so you can either use these templates or you can create your own uh, from there. So just great stuff that's in here. I just needed you to see those things from there. Speaking of Rovo, Rovo is an option that you have that stays internal to your instance and Atlassian. But here you can ask questions. You can ask about how to do something. You can tell it to help you organize. There are also what are called chat assistants that you can build that's in there. We're really exploring and having a lot of fun with this. At Atlassian's annual meeting last April, they were really saying this is where we want to move forward with, and so that's something that we're also pursuing. So you're seeing a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of tools, and so let me talk then about a brief statement about governance, and that is we highly recommend that you have a governance committee to help do with this, because with all this functionality, um, and all of the extensible functionality, the biggest thing that happens is uh, if you just let your community loose on this with all of its widespread capability, um, one of my colleagues says that if you don't have governance, all you're going to do is amplify the dysfunction. And so we want to make sure that we are trying to manage two things, two basic things that are about there. And that is um, um, managing the location of information and surfacing it in other places. So, and then there's things like naming conventions, um, other stuff, and the two basic guidelines is how can we standardize the use as much as possible, and then secondly, who should be able to view and or create within your instance, and out of the box, it's wide open, and you may want to have that managed. In fact, when we consult with our clients, we even have a half day um, governance workshop that we can do with you to help you organize and do so. Also, look on our YouTube channel. We have a monthly webinar on governance to kind of highlight some of those features. But anyway, just to let you know that we highly encourage and could assist if you need us to with helping you organize how you're going to use the space, because there's a lot of stuff here, and it's really, really powerful stuff. Um, so I have covered a lot of material in one shot. By the way, how are you liking the new interface with everything that used to be across the top now along the side? Um, but I got a couple minutes left. Let me take a look at a couple of the questions on there. One is, if you embed a document from a Google Drive, can AI read that information? You know what? That's a really good question. Um, I think I'm going to say no, but that's not a qualified no. What I might need to do, Andrea, is look into that and see if I can reach out to you on that one with an answer. That's an excellent question. But again, my initial response is no, but I'm not comfortable with that. The next question is, how can we create a new template from an existing template in Confluence? Okay, that's good. If you are looking at either at the space setting or at this can also be done globally from there. Um, Heck, let me just do it here. I'll do it globally. I'm still getting used to some of these things as far as so out of the box, it comes with about 140 built-in templates. And what you can do is, if you like, you can take any one of these, open it up, and then save it as your own, and then you can add it as a template from there. Here is information about templates from there, and there's good content. So both the space administrator and the Confluence administrator can manage by creating a new template, and we've done that actually. There's a couple of things on some of the meetings templates that we either need to add to or change the nomenclature to, or even remove. And so we've actually, in some cases, created our own meeting notes templates, but that's where it's handled. Gosh, that was a lot of information. Thank you for sticking with me. Um, I hope this has been helpful. Um, again, this is going to be on our YouTube channel. So if you need stakeholders to check out the information without any obligation, that's a great place to go and see these. Again, this gets recorded every month, and I have to talk faster every month because there seems to be more information every time. But anyway, we've talked about a lot, haven't we? We've talked about all the editing tools, the macros, how it might be displayed for both an IT and a non-IT, the different types of content pages, whiteboards, database, smart links, live pages. I didn't talk about live pages. I didn't display it, but it's literally just a page that doesn't have versions. That's all it is. But it's great for quick editing, etc. I hope this has been helpful to you. Um, um, yeah, I'm out of time, but thank you so much. Again, I hope this has been beneficial. Again, my name is Tony Hartsfield, and I am a consultant with Valiantys, and you've just witnessed the Introduction to Confluence Whirlwind uh, webinar. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.